Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Champagne Wives podcast. I'm your host, Kelly.
And I'm your co-host, Nicole. Hey, gal.
Hi.
How are you?
I am good and excited.
I know, I can tell. I can tell. Okay. We'll do all the salutations later. But obviously, we have another guest in studio that we're super excited to have. We have talked about her for all 4 seasons.
Yes.
Not 4?
4 seasons. We've been talking about you since we started.
Yes.
The first episode, we were talking about you.
Yes.
And we have been able to convince her to join us in studio. This is the amazing, the wonderfully talented, the incredibly fit,
and beautiful
and creative and funny. We can go on and on. Jacqueline Davis.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Jackie.
JFIT Lifestyle.
Our trainer, if you haven't already
Yes.
guessed. She's our trainer, Jackie. Wait, you want us to call you Jackie or Jacqueline?
Call me Jackie.
We can call you Jackie.
We're going to call her
Jackie.
Jackie, but we're going to say Jacqueline because of the for the intro.
Yeah,
For the intro, but the rest of the time we're talking about
the intro. Okay,
yeah, but for the rest we Jackie. Okay, we might call it Jacqueline. We might call it Jack.
I call it Jack. Exactly.
I call it Jay. Boo. Okay, so we're here today to talk about a lot of things. But before we jump into the topic, Jackie, tell the people who you are, what you do. Tell them about the business you own, please.
Okay, so I went to Texas State University. So I have a degree in exercise sports science and pre-PT. Come on, Texas State. And I started my business 4 years ago, but I've been a trainer for 7 years. And so that's when I started JFIT Lifestyle LLC. And here we are, 4 years later.
Here we are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So when I started with you, you were just now starting your business. I didn't realize that.
I started my business in 2019.
Okay.
Yes.
Right before the pandemic.
Right.
Okay.
Worked in a corporate setting and learned all the business aspects. And after that, it was time to grow and move on.
We love to see Black business owners, Black
blast
female.
off ever since.
Blast off. So thought it'd be funny just to talk about how we all got into relationship with Jackie, right? So I was a referral of a client that Jackie had, and can we toast first?
Oh yeah,
let's toast.
Cheers.
Because this is the moment that we've probably been waiting for a long time.
Cheers, babe. Okay, long arm.
So I was a referral and was about, 24 to 25 pounds heavier. It was June of 2020. I was trying to do these garage workouts and they were not working. And someone said, you know what, I have a trainer you might like. Texted her. Jackie and I met. Love at first sight. We've been stuck ever since.
Yeah.
Physically was probably in the worst shape of my life. We like to tell the story about these waist beads. Jackie, you tell the story about these waist beads.
I'm not going to start with these waist beads.
Okay, tell them about the waist beads that I had. Because this is when waist beads were popping. And I was like, okay, I'm going to use them to measure my progress in this fitness journey.
So I'm not the one to judge. I at least try not to. When I met Nicole, you guys, her waist beads were to her boobs, okay?
Chest beads.
Chest beads, baby. And I was like, I don't know her yet, so let me just rephrase. But I asked her, said, what was the purpose? Like, what is the purpose, you know? She's like, well, they're just, for design. Design for what? Like, what are they for?
They were like
because
right
they're not
here.
on the waist.
They were up here.
Hilarious.
They were up here, y'all.
Like, not on the girl. I'm so hot.
They were up there. It is warm today.
Yeah, so excuse me for
I'm a
being
little
hot.
hot.
It is like 84 degrees today here in Houston. Spring decided to spring. Happy spring. It's officially spring.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Monday marked spring, the official new year.
Well, here we are.
And so here we are.
Okay.
So yeah, that was my intro to Jackie. Jackie been kicking my ass ever since.
Yeah, the waist beads. But here we are. They're off now, you guys.
Oh.
Yeah, what waist
Come on,
bead?
waist.
What waist?
What waist?
What waist?
That's the
What waist?
question.
What waist?
So I have a less compelling story. Like it wasn't funny as funny as yours because I was not. I knew better than to put those waist beads on. First of all, my level of self-awareness is very high. I was not wearing no waist beads.
My level of practical delusion.
But you know what I say about you, child. You know what I say about you already. So we're not going to even go there. I digress. So I was like, I need to start working out because it was COVID and I was home and I was just at home being depressed, overeating,
Yeah.
gaining weight.
Mm.
And so I'm like, Nicole, I really need a trainer because, for the latter reasons. And so I think you and I had just become like really close at the time.
Yeah.
That's when we started hanging out and going to do our little sidewalk
Happy hours.
Happy hours, yeah.
Which we're contributing to the weight gain, by the
Exactly.
way.
Oh, yes,
As we
drinking.
speak.
I forgot drinking too. Drinking and eating.
Yes.
Sleeping and all the things. And so she was just like, yeah, I have this trainer. Her name is Jackie. And she has a big booty. And she was just like,
Sounds about right.
That sounds like Nicole.
That's on brand.
she has a big booty. And I was just like, okay. I was like, well, did she accept a new client? Because I want to work out. She was just like, yeah, call her. So called Jackie. She came to my house to do my assessment. And here she came, Miss Big Booty and all, child. I was like, okay, she does. She okay. This is what I want. This is the aesthetic that I'm shooting
what we
for.
should say.
Yeah.
I'm sold. Okay.
Yes.
Get into my garage in my house, do the assessment, child. Oh,
Ugh.
I was out of shape.
Yeah.
I could not do anything. And so the progress from that first assessment, the first day to now, and even though I give you hell in
Yeah.
every session.
Up until this morning.
Up until this morning, girl.
Y'all,
like
at
every
7
session.
a.m.
I come with the shits every day.
Rise and
I'm
shine.
not doing this, but you are.
But but she is. And she makes me do it and she keeps me motivated and she allows me to gripe and complain, but I also get it done. And
Correct.
so there's been just so much progress from that first time that I met Jackie. She came and did my assessment until now. And I know the same. I mean, obviously, it's true for you.
Very much so.
Threw the waist beads away, child.
Yeah,
more
because they
waist
were at her.
They were falling off.
At that point, yeah.
They were falling off.
I mean, the booty was holding them up, but then they were sad.
at that point, yeah.
Yeah.
But
They
it
were-
wasn't a waste to hold.
And I was a part of that because we were like, you know what, cut the waist beads
It's
off.
time. I didn't even have to
time.
cut them off. I just had to
Yeah.
let them drop to the floor
Yeah.
and
And
step out of
that's the
them.
problem. She just stepped out.
I did.
Yeah.
It's time to let them.
I still have these waist beads, by the
baby,
way.
don't
I still have them. Just as
Frame
a
them.
reminder, just to see how far I've come.
Frame them.
Okay. So last week we talked about the difference between being burnt out, being lazy. And in most cases, we're not lazy. We're just literally burnt out, mentally exhausted. There's some physical exhaustion in there as well. And thought it would be a great segue to talk about ways, if you are feeling like you're in a slump, whether it be physically or mentally, that you can get out of that. And fitness, when we did the research, is at the top of the list of ways that you can get out of any funk, any low that you're in, as long as like you are physically able, but movement in general, right?
Correct.
So, Jackie, tell us how did fitness become a part of your life and basically become your brand and your lifestyle?
I think that I've always worked out all my life, right? I played sports, I worked out, all the things. But I also think that when it came to fitness, I was like, what's one thing that everyone needs? Right. And that's not biased to anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, your color, your skin, your social status, your money, all of that didn't matter. Right. So I was like, what's one thing that could bring everyone together that I can have an influence on the world, right, as much as I can. And so I was like, well, physical fitness, right? Everyone needs to be healthy, to be fit, and to be whole with inside and out. And so that's how I came into fitness. And then I got my degree from there. And then I started doing physical therapy. Wasn't as happy as I wanted to be because I felt like if you got hurt, this is where you go to. But I wanted to prevent that from even happening, right? And so that's how I got into health and fitness.
Health and fitness.
Yeah.
So, okay, I don't want to cut you off. So
No,
you're
not
on
at
the
all.
roll. You're on
No,
the
no,
roll.
no. I'm not. There's no roll.
Okay,
It's a pancake flat,
Okay.
like the stomach, bitch.
Come on.
Hey, what?
Come on.
Pop your
waste?
shit. What waste? Okay. Anyway, so Jackie, tell us about your process because you said that you got into training because it's a area where you can help a lot of people reach their goals and there's just really no barrier, right? But what is your process around choosing who you work with? Because you're not only a trainer, you're great at training, but it's a heavy job, right? Because we come to you with our life's problems, a lot of the times,
Yeah.
right? Whatever it is that we're going through in the moment, it's easy for a training session to then turn into like a girlfriend therapy chat session, right? And so for you to take all of that on, it's a lot. And so it shows that you have to care a lot, that you do care a lot about the people that you work with. So how do you go about making the selection about who it is that you will and not work with? Because you're not like a everybody can come as you are type of trainer.
Jackie got a velvet rope.
Baby,
She got a velvet rope. You in or you out?
Yeah. I think that I choose my clients based on my spirit, to be honest with you. I don't have to get very spiritual, but I think that's how I choose it. If I have peace with this person after the consultation and I feel as though we can actually mesh and rock together, I think that I'm like, okay, I like you. I'll take you as a client. I think I could help anybody, right? I think it's easy to know how to help someone lose weight, but spiritually and emotionally and mentally, I think that's where I really choose my clients. Like, are they willing to listen? Do they have a positive spirit? Are they willing to do the hard work to get to where we're going, right? And not make excuses or not really give me too many pushback, you know, because I deal with a lot of people. And so it's more of that positive energy space that I really base it off of, right? Okay. Because we can save the world. I mean, it's not that hard to lose weight if you stay consistent, but it is if you mentally are not where you need to be. Right. Right.
And you're not a person, that's what I like about you. You're not like a trainer who'll just say, okay, you want to work out, I'll take your money, even though you don't see results. I'll continue
and be on your phone while the people are training.
But not even that, but like the accountability piece, right, is what I love about it. Like, it's just like, yes, I am your trainer, and there's like a client, what do you call it, trainer relationship, obviously there, but that's not it, right? You really want to see us thrive, and you really want us to do well and allow the program to work for us. And you get excited about our progress.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think that when when it's because of money, I think that when you're in service, you uphold that to the highest degree, right? It's not about what money you can take and how much money you can make. It will come as it comes anyway. I think it's more so if I have a job to do, I'm going to make sure I do it to the best of my ability. So when you leave this program, if you ever do, which y'all are not, but
that's for life, bitch.
But I think that sets a tone for everything, right? And I think you'll be able to tell if I'm just needing y'all's money and not really caring, because I think it wouldn't translate in any other way.
A lack of results,
Girl, a lack of everything. Jackie be like,
right.
Like, what you doing today?
And when we look at Jackie and we're just like, but do we really need to do these 12 Bulgarians after we just did these cheeks to seat squats? She's like, trust the program. Trust the program. And I'm like, but what's the program? She's like, all you got to do is show up and just give effort. Give your all when you're here and show up. Those are the only two things that I ask of you, and the results will fall in line. So that was a great question, actually, just about like, how do you make the selection criteria on who you choose to work with?
Baby, I'm picky.
She is. I had to bring that up in this conversation in case people think that after they see this, that they're going to sign up with Jackie and play around.
Right. That's
You're not going to play around.
Because your client base right now, is it 100% referrals?
Yeah.
Look at God.
It is
100% referrals.
And I've been having the same clients for over 5 to 6 years, right? And then so on. So I haven't had anyone that just comes and goes, right? Unless I feel like it's time to move forward, another direction.
You're fired. So last week, I had talked about how I was down in the dumps post-pandemic, or in the midst of the pandemic and even post-pandemic, was working out with you, had many of those girlfriend therapeutic sessions. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to push weight, do a leg curl, do a leg press, and tears have just fallen down my face, and Jackie just come and give me a hug. But definitely felt in the moment when I was working out, and even on the other side, I was like, shit, like I feel good. Endorphins popped, activated, felt like I could take on the day. And I guess my question is that normal? Is it just me because I was down in the dumps, or is that like a normal feeling that people are supposed to experience on the other side of working out?
I think it's a normal feeling, right? I think that when you work out and you actually invest in yourself, you feel good after. You know, I think that you guys hold the weight of a lot of the different things, right? Wives, mothers, friends, and all the things. And I think that this is one time for yourself. And that's what I love about fitness. One time for you to release. And I think that's what you guys do. Yeah. Whether it be good or bad that day, you guys release and let me be there to hold you if I need to. Right. And so I think that's important. I think that happens for everyone. Yeah. They can come in a certain way, but they leave out saying, I'm glad that I showed up.
Right.
Yes. And that's the most important part, right?
I say that all the time.
Yeah.
I made it.
It was hard, child. I didn't want. It was raining outside. It was cold. I did not want to come, but I'm glad I came.
Yes, every single time when you walk out.
Every single time.
I'm glad I came. It's over, child.
I'm tired. Jackie killed me today, but I'm glad I came.
Kelly has this exit narrative that is really funny to listen to.
It's my narrative.
When you leave, you're just like, whew. That was hard, but I'm glad I did it, child.
Yeah.
It's done.
Bye, Jack.
Bye, Jack. See you tomorrow, Jack.
Whenever I'm coming back again.
See you Wednesday. See you Monday.
Bye.
Let the door slam.
Right.
I love it.
So how can someone find the motivation to get started? So, we talked about like once a person is get started and having like the determination and persistence to kind of keep showing up and keep going. But how does a person just get started? Because that's the hardest part, I think, in the journey, right? Just making the decision that you're going to start it. So what are some of the ways in which you would recommend people, get started with working out?
I think identifying that, you're not happy in general. I think that's how it really starts. I think you guys look in the mirror and you're like, okay, I don't like this about myself or this, right? And I think that from there, with the physical aspect, it translates everywhere else, right? And so I think that just having someone that holds you accountable, like myself, and if obviously you cannot do that, just showing up, right? Just thinking every day I wake up, give myself 30 minutes, to do something for myself and to release. And I think you'll see the benefits for that across the board, right? And so I tell Nicole this all the time, and you as well. Just show up, right? That's really how you start. I don't know anywhere else to put it, but just knowing that this is something I want to change. I have one life to live. I have one temple. Right. So why not do the best I can to live a long life and a better quality of life is what I say. Right?
Yeah.
So
my motto is you look good, you feel good.
Exactly. From the inside out.
From the inside out. Yep. That's true. You look good, you feel good. And, fitness is such an important aspect to us, especially as we begin to, I'm not going to say age, child, but
reverse age, child.
Reverse age and mature.
Age gracefully.
Age gracefully. You know what I mean? And so, I've worked out over the years on and off, several years, just kind of on and off, child. I'll leave that there. But now, at this point, like we always say, stuck for life, but I'm locked in because I do want to live the healthiest life possible as I continue to mature and I continue to age. And, it's better to start sooner rather than later.
Yep.
And that's what I tell people all the time. You know what I mean? It's just day after day. And, it's hard because what I love about having a trainer is the accountability piece. And I always say, like, when I am not able to make it to my sessions, like texting Jackie, I feel like I'm texting my boss.
Oh my God.
Like having to text her.
1,000%.
Like having to text her that I'm not going to show up to a session. Like, talk about accountability on 1,000.
Yeah. I don't feel that bad calling out from work.
Exactly. That part.
I don't feel that bad.
That part.
I don't feel that bad.
When they say, hey, boo,
yes. Hey, boo.
Let me butter it up first. This is what they do. Hey, boo.
Hey, boo.
Good morning.
And then silent. And then type.
By the way, I'm like, okay.
Not going to make it.
But I try to come as much as possible.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But again, the accountability piece for me is key because it's not that I can just not show up to work out one day. It's just like I have to text my trainer who I know has gotten up in the morning, who is waiting for me to come to my session so that she can work me out, right? And so
that's right,
that's
She's like, that sounds about right.
That sounds about right. And, you know what I mean? And also too, I know Jackie. If I call out a lot, Jackie's going to tell me. She's going to tell me about myself.
Yeah. Jackie ain't gonna hold no
she's
tongue.
She's not gonna hold no tongue.
But with love and grace.
Always
receive it because she's right. But she will let me know, like you've been missing a lot lately.
Right. If you come to your sessions.
If you come to your sessions. If you show up on
we
time.
won't be having this talk.
Right. If you get your cardio in.
Right.
But that's why I love them because it's all in love, right? And you guys receive it. So think of someone who didn't receive it and is combative. That's what I was talking about earlier. You have to have clients that receive it and that's like, okay, at the end of the day, that makes sense. You're right. And this is a program. And all I want to do is excel in the program. Right. So,
Well, for me, I don't want to let you down. The other part is I just don't want to go back to being like SpongeBob SquarePants. Because that ain't the life, child. Y'all heard my announcement last.
These lights got me.
You heard my announcement last episode. I can't be out here looking like SpongeBob SquarePants.
Girl, right.
Living in a pineapple in the sea.
You cannot. Out here living your best life, child.
I can't. So I'm gonna show up.
Yeah, you do.
I'm gonna show up.
I'm not.
I'm gonna show up.
I am not doing this
I'm
today.
like sweating out. It's
Where
so
are
hot.
so hot.
It's so hot. Okay.
I cannot. Okay.
All right. So, Kels, you talked a little bit about fitness and the importance of starting that at an early age. I remember in my 20s, I was not thinking about fitness. I was thinking about these drinks. I was thinking about being out, traveling, and eating late night food. To the point where when I would try to run, I would itch and feel like I had just creepy crawlies all over my body, child.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad. And I think about today's world, and that was some years ago. But I think about today's world and these, the 20-somethings, they're there. Probably not working out as much, but maybe more, because I feel like we're starting to see more workout culture make its way into all the communities. But we're also seeing folks getting these beautiful bodies. When I grew up, natural bodies were in. Today is the age of the BBL and these hourglass figures that one can achieve if they stick to a program, right? And clean up their eating and maybe stop drinking bottles of champagne.
Yeah.
But
Wait, can I tell you how my ass has got? First of all, I didn't think that there was any hope.
Come on.
Okay.
What?
For my ass to be
Caking the way it's caking, child.
the lift, child.
Child.
The lift.
The-
One lift.
The
I
cheeks
didn't
are
think it was
cheeking.
possible.
Nope.
I'm just going to put that out
The
there.
cakes are plump.
They're doing what needs to be done. And so results too.
Right.
It also keeps you consistent.
It
and going,
does,
because
absolutely.
I never would have thought, child. I thought there was only a certain
level of elevation
I
we
was going to
could-
go. Yeah, like
No, it's working.
It's working. Okay.
So talk to us a little bit about Welcome to the Champagne Wines Podcast.
But Jackie,
Why
do you
is
want to
she
tell a
like
story about
this?
my ass when you first met me, child? Okay.
Y'all see my phone?
Jackie got like photos upon photos of evidence.
First of all, she got memories upon
She
memories.
does.
And
I see
she will
the
tell
phone.
you about the memories.
Jackie, the first one to pull her phone out.
Yeah, just like that. It had
You
the
see?
hump. It had the little
It
hump
was
at
just
the
like
bottom.
this. But now we like,
Yeah.
Hey, let 'em know.
Progress.
Let them know.
Progress.
So talk to us a little bit about this, what your thoughts are on folks choosing to, and I'm not going to go so far to say take shortcuts, but I'm just going
It's a
to
shortcut.
say, okay, we'll call a thing a thing.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on folks going under the knife, achieving these bodies in an unnatural way? And then the other side of that is when they have these amazing bodies, but they're not working out. So just talk about all the things around that.
I think that it's a shortcut. Honestly,
Okay.
like Nicole said. And that's just the truth. I know we're in a culture where we feel as though we don't want to talk about the truth, but it's the truth. And that's just what it is. I also feel as though the risk behind, the infections and, possible diseases, and as well as your body not actually taking on whatever's going on, I think that plays a big role in why a lot of people are taking them out now.
Yeah.
Right. And so I
Like
honestly
China,
don't know-
K.
Yeah.
Michelle.
So I don't know of any, in my opinion, any benefits behind it. I think aesthetically, you may feel like you look good, but still you're not inside, you don't feel good, right? And so which is why most of you guys still don't work out, still feel like something's missing, and you're still searching for something else, right? And so I really don't know any benefits besides like the fact that you feel like, okay, I got a big butt, now I'm getting attention in a sense. But if it's for yourself, then that shouldn't matter anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so I haven't done like much research on BBLs, but I just don't think they're healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're not. I mean, you can lose your life. I mean, there's so many examples of people losing their lives
On the table.
due to cosmetic surgery. Yeah. And going to foreign countries. Like, I can't even imagine going to Mexico.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Or BBL, bitch, where? No, I'm not. If I got to work out 5 days, like, and no judgment to anybody who does it, but the way, like, my cautiousness is set up, like, I just could not,
Your anxiety.
my anxiety, like, all of these things,
Right.
like, I just could not imagine going to a foreign country just to obtain like a certain aesthetic, like, and like you said, like, there's still, I feel like, an emptiness. So you can still go and get surgery and have like the body that like looks appealing to the opposite sex, men or whatever. But how do you feel on the inside? And that's a really good point. And I didn't think about working out that way, but it's true. You know, I love my body now, but there's also such a gratification that comes from it, an appreciation of the fact that like I work hard for it. You know what I mean? And it's fulfilling. I get up the days that I get up and go to my session. And like I said, you know, the perseverance, I mean, I have wanted to come, but I leave feeling so good afterwards. And there's something to be said about that.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, after you get these surgeries, you still have to work out, right? I think when it comes down to, you know, heart diseases and diabetes and all those things, I think people don't really dial into knowing that I can get this, but I still have to do something about it.
Right. To have the cardiovascular health. Health.
Exactly. So I think that it starts there too, right? So in order to obtain like muscle in general, you have to lift weights. You have to do your cardio. You have to eat healthy, be consistent, all the things. And I think just getting that part of it, you're still missing so many other pieces, right? And I think that's where people fall short, in my opinion. So.
And the other side of it is like, and you, I think, alluded to this. There are plenty of people who are on the other side of the BBL experience who feel that they are being like that men like them only for the exterior, right? And they're only really seen as a sexualized object and not necessarily a person of substance. And that brings a feeling of emptiness as well, because at some point, like, it's not, I don't want to be known about like, you know, what my dimensions are, my proportions are. Like, I want to be known for the substance of, you know, the substance of things that are in between the two ears, not because I got a 48-inch hip and a 22-inch waist.
Yeah,
lollipop and legs that don't match.
Lollipop.
The ant effect. But that's true. But that goes for like all things. Like I even see it online now. Like people are taking their nails off and doing all the things because it's just it's not good for you, you know. And I think you know the culture was glamorized, like BBLs. You know, all the things that we do to ourselves that's not healthy for our bodies. Right. What, 10 years ago, I guess, when the Kardashians started to come up. And I think now people are seeing, like, as they get older, that they want to live healthier lives. You know what I mean? It's not all about, like, aesthetically looking a certain way, but it's about being healthy and being here, you know, for a long time. You know, people have kids and different things. And so people are really trying to reverse some of the damage that they've done to their bodies with getting these injections and foreign objects placed into their bodies. And you talked a little bit about diet, and that's my struggle, Jackie. You know this. Diet is, baby, look.
She's from Louisiana. She's from New Orleans specifically.
Baby, I be cooking meals, and I be telling her about the meals that I cook, and she be like, girl.
She's like, on her lunch break, I made red beans and rice, smothered pork chops, chicken wings.
You didn't invite me?
Cornbread, all the things.
During lunch?
I'm like, Nicole, what you cook during the week? She's like, well, I cook like 4 days a week. I'm like, why? She's like, because I cook like meals for just that night. I said, oh, you don't cook like big meals like me? She's like, no,
I don't. I'm like, dirty rice. Well, bring me some.
Girl, that's like a Thanksgiving meal, like dirty rice. This is like a holiday delicacy. Like I just cook on a regular day, but I like to have my main, my side, girl,
your Caesar salad,
all of the things. It's like I just like to have all the dressings. So I mean, spaghetti and meatballs, the corn, the salad, the garlic bread. Like it's just a lot. This is from Southeast Louisiana. I'm from New Orleans.
That's why we in JFIT, baby.
Baby, I got to. I like to cook. Well, I don't like to cook, but when I do cook, that is my standard because that's my culture. That's how I was raised. And so I know diet is equally important to the fitness lifestyle as is working out. But I've also heard that you don't necessarily have to stop eating the things that you love, but just everything in moderation. So can you just kind of talk about the diet and the science around that as it relates to workout? Because you always are like, eat your protein and eat your vegetables, but you can also have carbs too. Yeah. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think people are really confused, like me, around the diet piece.
I think to keep it simple for just the masses, I think that if you keep a high protein diet, right, whatever your body weight is, and kilograms and all of those things, that's a lot of math. But either way, if you keep a high protein diet and vegetables, right, keep your carbs in, as much as you want to. You have to utilize them, though. That's the thing people don't understand, right? You can't eat all the rice and potatoes, but then go sit on the couch, you know, and that's, I think...
Oh.
And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, and which is why they want to do keto, because it seems like if I cut carbs, I'm losing weight. But really, that's one of your main energy systems, right? For you to utilize with lifting weights in general, right? And so I feel as though, I tell my clients all the time just to keep it simple, right? High protein, high vegetable, less processed foods, because that's where I think a lot of people go wrong, right? The processed foods. Maintaining your stress and your sleep, getting enough sleep, 8 hours or more. And honestly limiting, I know we're drinking champagne, but...
She does all the time about that, y'all.
She does. The way we lose like 2 or 3 pounds in between seasons because we're not consuming as much champagne.
We're not drinking.
The drinks. And I think that people don't really dial into knowing that alcohol does play a big role in a lot of different factors, right? Yeah. Your sleep. Also, it can be a stress relief, so you think, but then you're still not happy,
right.
You know?
And
then you show up to your workout, not them, but just in general, right? And then you feel sluggish.
Well, that was me this morning, child.
You feel sluggish, you feel heavy, you feel as though like, okay, I feel bloated, I feel, you know, all those things. And so I would say get with someone that knows how to, you know, your macros and things like that. But just to keep it simple, just keep high protein, high veggies, keep your carbs every other meal if you want, and just keep it simple like that.
So alcohol, baby. Let's bring it back, baby.
These are the questions, child.
Alcohol.
The things that y'all don't listen to.
Look, that's the one part where like, yes, okay, Jackie.
I hear you.
Yes, Jackie, I'm trying.
I hear you.
She be like, Nicole influence you. I'm like, she does, Jackie.
Yes, I do.
Y'all be talking slander about me when I'm not out at the workout.
Baby.
Child.
Just about the alcohol, child.
Yeah,
just like Nicole influenced you.
And she agrees.
I'm like, yes, she does. But
dang.
And Kels agrees.
This is really when we were really drinking at your house.
Oh, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. I brought you into the vortex.
You brought me into that vortex, Nicole.
Okay.
Stop.
We're on our way out.
We're on the same page. Am I lying?
We know the leader.
No lies told.
Call a lie. Okay.
No lies told.
So I heard that a glass of like wine at night is good for your heart health.
Red wine specifically is what I read. If we're talking about the same research.
We are Google research.
Oh, y'all love that, huh? But y'all don't search anything else.
Right.
Google research, child. Okay, so
maybe a glass of Kendall Jackson.
Realistically, though, all jokes aside, how much alcohol consumption is like too much? Would a glass a night?
A glass a night
is too much, or is okay? So we should tailor our drinking to like maybe once a week.
I would say.
How many glasses?
Never would have made it.
And she breaks into gospel, but she gonna get here and talk about y'all can talk about me. As you talk about y'all talking about me.
Honestly, the thing I love about my clients is I always say, we have goals to reach, right? And I think that when you realize, okay, if I'm going to consume this much alcohol, also know that when it's time for us to have measurements and evals, I'm not the one to hear the excuses. And that's just where it comes to, right? So just know, if I'm going to do this every single night, this may affect other things, right? And most of you guys understand that. I think that's where it comes down to. I personally do not drink all week for myself. And then if I have a birthday or event, I may have a couple of glasses, but I think it works best for me that way. Because then you're not needing it. You're not longing for it.
Okay.
I think every night you feel like, okay, I'd have to have one every night.
To relax.
Yeah, to relax. And I don't think that's the case.
But drinking socially.
Drinking socially. Because I think we're all human. And I would be crazy to say y'all don't ever drink.
Yeah.
You know, but I think also just know the effects that's going to have on everything else we're doing.
Right.
And I think they respect that and they receive it. And so when it comes down to it, I'm like, I can tell you've been doing this, you've been doing that, and they just look like, yeah, you're right, because you can tell in the body and the inches and the body fat, all those things, right? And so
because people don't think, like I've heard the saying, I'm gonna drink my calories instead of eat my calories, but I don't think people realize just how many calories are in a drink, or even just a glass of champagne. Yeah, just the sugars alone, right? Like I just don't think people realize. I mean, because you're drinking, you don't think that you're getting the calories, but it is. It's just like you're consuming the sugar and a piece of cake or whatever it is, a meal, child.
Right.
And I think after 3 glasses, we're already at how many calories?
It's about 150. It's about 150 calories per glass of champagne and/or wine.
Per glass,
per glass.
150?
Yeah.
Crazy.
What?
Yeah. That's the standard pour.
That's like a meal.
And if your calories are
that on top of a meal.
150 calories is not a meal, child.
No, baby. If you have 3 glasses, do we stop at 1?
No.
Where?
So
we
like
stop
3
at
glasses
one?
is almost
Never.
like
Okay.
what is 3 glasses?
3 glasses is going to be carry the one, about 450
That's
calories.
a meal. You could have utilized that for a meal.
For a meal.
That's a quality. Oh, a meal. I'm like, that's a quality snack.
If you had salmon and maybe like some sweet potatoes and veggies, that's about right. Like
Yeah.
450,
Yeah.
500.
And then
depending
if
on
you
your
have that
goals.
while you're eating the
Yeah. Child.
And so that's an example. So if I give a client, for example, a calorie count of 1,500, if you think about it, you're already at 500. You only have 1,000 to eat.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot. And that's when you start playing with the math
Right.
and knowing that, dang, I'm really eating. I mean, I'm really consuming more calories with drinking than I am eating.
Yeah.
Which I need more whole foods to even get to my next goal and my next level.
Right.
And that's
For
not
muscle
even good
gain.
calories
Because
either.
Right.
the
So it's
sugars
going
and
straight
all,
to your
it's
belly.
empty.
Exactly.
Empty
Yeah.
calories.
Yeah. Empty
The
calories.
heavyweight intercontinental
Yeah.
championship belt, as I like to call it. Okay, so you talked a little bit about, last question, you talked a little bit about kind of measurements. And love that that's a part of your program where you measure folks on a monthly basis so we know what progress we've made month to month and what we need to focus on for the month ahead. If there are folks that are looking to find a personal trainer, because obviously you're booked and busy and maybe not accepting new clients, but I don't want to put that out there, but she's not. So
Y'all, they're so
we are so
crazy.
protective of her.
They're crazy.
Energy is everything.
Yeah.
We are. So if someone's looking for a personal trainer, what are some of the things that they should be looking for in a personal trainer? And let's do it like private, but then also like at a gym, because sometimes, folks only can do or afford the gym membership training.
Okay.
So what are some things that they should be looking for, or red flags that they should just steer clear of?
I think knowing if they have a degree or certification, right? I don't think that you can teach anyone anything you haven't learned yourself, right? I know that we have a lot of influencers, but I think we work hard for our degrees. And I think that holds a big place in my heart, knowing that I worked hard to do something for someone else. And so I think that just knowing that you influence and you work out and you can, give somebody motivation, that's not the same thing as a certification or a degree, right? It's been work put in this in years. And I don't think a lot of people respect the craft that, I can go on and on, but respect the craft, So besides that, also knowing, is it a program, right? Is it just random every single day? Or is it a 4 to 8 week basis of knowing that I'm going to progress from this to that to this, right? I don't think you should go in wondering and guessing what you're doing. And I think that's very telling of someone not putting any emphasis on your program or not making it personalized.
Yeah.
Right? So just randomly thinking of stuff and just randomly grabbing different things. What else? On your phone. Right, not paying attention, not being attentive to knowing that if they do the squat this way, they might hurt themselves, or all those things. And so I think those are 3 different things. What else? I think that's pretty much the main factors that you'll be able to tell, like, that someone's not as serious as they should be, and so maybe I shouldn't be investing my money or my time into their program.
Can I add one? When you walk into a gym and someone asks, "Do you want to compete?"
Wait, what?
Do you want to compete?
This is lost over
No,
here.
because some of these trainers have teams that they send to these bodybuilding competitions. And I remember I walked into a gym, which shall go unnamed, and I was inquiring about personal training. And this was maybe 2018. And the first question I got was what are your goals? What are you looking to achieve? And I told him, and he was like, "Do you want to compete? Bodybuild?" I look like, absolutely not. Immediately no was the answer I gave him, right? So when someone is looking to potentially financially gain off of you, outside of just what should come naturally from the relationship that you have with the trainer, that's a red flag as well, I would say.
Yeah, I think if most trainers just, know that this is someone's life in my hands, and essentially, I know that sounds crazy,
For
but
real.
it is.
Yeah.
And it's an investment, and I don't think it's cheap or easy, right? I think that this is an investment, and I also think that this is a sacrifice in a way, right? And so I think when you look at it like that, you'll have more integrity behind what you feel is, best for that situation.
Yeah.
So speaking of cost and price, what would you say to people who do not necessarily have the means to pay for or afford a trainer in the moment? What are some other means that they could tap into to be able to start their workout journey?
I would say, to make it easy, I would say YouTube has a lot of different full body workouts, and I think that doing something is better than nothing, right? I know that it may not be as personalized as you want, but it's better than laying on the couch or just doing cardio, not utilizing weights either, right? And so I think YouTube workouts are good. I think people also sell a lot of programs, so you'll be able to know, okay, let me follow this program for 4 to 8 weeks, and then I should be good to go from there. And just doing your own homework, right? If you're not going to invest in a trainer, also you have to do your own homework at that point because you're holding your own self accountable, right? And so I think those are two ways. I think YouTube is free, and so we do it for everything else.
And you think it's equally as effective? Equally, equally maybe strong, but it clear my throat.
Not the way you were like, this defined equally.
Define equal, child. She was like, but do you think though that progress can be made taking that route? Yeah. Okay.
I think it can.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that everyone doesn't have the same means, right? And so I hate to say it doesn't, it's not progress in it, but I do say that it's better than laying on the couch doing nothing. Right. It's better than, not having a plan set in motion. And I think doing anything for your health to me is rewarding in general. Yeah. So to me, that's going to be a positive outlook no matter what. Yeah. Whether you can afford a trainer or not. You doing something for yourself and your health, to me, is a win-win. So, regardless. So.
Last question, because you started to say this. TikTok workouts, the trends. There's a lot of trends out there, right? The 3-12-30 trend, right? Walk at an incline of 12 for 3 at a speed of 3 miles an hour for 30 minutes. There's the sit on the wall. There's one that's crazy right now that's out there. Put your legs on the wall, child, and pump up in the air and to shrink your waist. There's a lot of trends and fads out there right now on TikTok. And sometimes, guilty as charged, I will bring some of these to Jackie and be like, have you heard about this? And she rolls her eyes. I send her and text me like, eyes. And she rolls her eyes at me. She's like, man, just stick with the program. High level thoughts on these trends. How effective are they? What are your thoughts? What say you?
I would say, what's the purpose, though, right? When you have a plan set in motion, you have to know what you're working and what's the purpose. I think that goes a long way. I can't give someone split squats 1 week and then skip it for a whole nother month and then go back. How can you progress from there or know your level you can reach? And so I think that's what makes it kind of iffy for me because it's just random. It's just random, right? Yeah. You would never know, okay, I started off at 10 pounds on squat, now I'm at 25 if I'm just doing random things every single workout. Right. I think when it comes down to a program, that's what you need to look at. Like from a 4 to 8 weeks basis, am I progressing from this level that I started at to then now, right? And not just, am I walking at an incline of 12? I mean, that's kind of simplistic. I think anybody can do that, and that's still good if that's where you're at. But I think there's so many more ways you can utilize your fitness, not just random workouts every single day, a burpee, and then a push-up, and then but how do I progress that from there? How do I progress from a split squat to a deadlift to a hip hinge? All
to an RDL, my favorite.
Yes, and so just knowing those volumes, those tensions, those different depth levels, all that makes a big difference on fitness in general, which is why they look the way they look today.
Say it. So. And the scale is not the only way to measure progress and success, because you can gain weight, but you can also put on lean muscle mass, which is a win, right? So don't use the scale as like the only form of measurement when you're thinking about success.
I am guilty of that. I mean, honestly,
yes, you are.
I am so guilty of that. When that scale starts to tipping in the wrong direction, my nerves get bad.
Not
and
tipping.
then and Jackie be like, she'll take my measurement. She'd be like, "Oh, it's good, baby. Like you gained like 2% in muscle," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
You're like, a win is a win.
A win is a win. So it's good to be able to have that level of knowledge and not just rely on the scale. And I also say another measurement for me is how my clothes fit. So
big.
And then also you explained to me too, like as women, like our bodies just go through different changes each month. And so, we can hold water weight, we can retain sodium, inflammation, all the things that, we have to experience just from a anatomy standpoint can affect what the number says on the scale. So just not to get caught up on that.
I would just say, just stay the course, right? If you know that you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, but it's just that time of the month, or you feel like maybe I was a little off, just get back on course.
Yeah.
If you're in a program and I've worked out this many years. Just a one weekend of you just wilding out, in a sense, is not going to hurt you to where you can't recover.
Yeah.
So, and that's just life, right?
Yeah.
I remember one time I came to work out after I had been on a plane, and that was right before the check-in, and the scale was scaling. The math was mathing. And I was like, she was like, but you know what? You're swollen. You just got off a plane.
Yeah.
You know, like that all takes a toll. Right?
Blood pressure's high. You're retaining water.
Takes a toll on your weight. And so just stick to the course. Like everything will just even itself out. And it did. Yeah. But just, you know, for people who are out there who really get hung up on like what number is showing up on the scale, like me, there can just be so many different factors that play into why the number is just
where it is
higher than what you anticipated or expected.
Yeah. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And you know it's ups and downs, but you just stay the course. That's all I tell my clients. So
there we go.
Yeah.
Stay the course.
So Jack, the way that we just love you. We love you like immensely. And like we've said, we've been talking about her since the first episode that we recorded in the bathroom. We've been talking about her. We did record it in the bathroom.
I know we did. I'm just saying, flashback.
But I know how far we've come.
Right, how far we've come. Our progress.
Right, that's what it's about. And so just so thankful to be able to have you here today with us to impart your knowledge, which I know you've worked very hard to acquire. And you're one of the best to do it. I mean, I've had a lot of trainers, but like I said, we locked in. We stuck for life.
Yeah.
What is all this, child? Are you a gang? What is this? Nicole is just like, what is this, Nicole? Show your teeth, Nicole. I'm not doing it.
Oh, Lord.
It's an inside joke, y'all.
So will you stay? No, be quiet.
Okay, I'm done.
Will you stay for what's poppin'?
Yeah.
Okay. Before I cry off my makeup. Okay. So speaking of inside jokes, we're gonna get into what's poppin'. So speaking of inside jokes, Kelly and I have a dynamic, and I think it'd be really interesting for you to weigh in on this because there was a post that I saw on the socials about it was a text between Young Miami, aka Carisha, and JT of the famed City Girls, right? So here's the text from JT. JT says, "I'm sleepy, Carisha," and Carisha says, "Okay, so what you want to do? Go to sleep? You can. It's no pressure." And JT says, "Okay, yeah, I need to reset. I'm tired. Probably get food and go to bed." Carisha responds, "Okay, Grandma." JT says, "Laughing my ass off." And then Carisha says, "If you change your mind, I'll be outside." And JT closes by saying, "I be tired." When I saw this post, I said, "Oh,
the dynamic.
This is us.
This is the dynamic.
If I'm like Carisha and you JT, I don't know who is.
Exactly. I don't know who is. It has played itself out on the podcast.
On the podcast. Like, this is us.
This is completely us.
Literally, this is us. And, you know, I just think that it's important to just recognize the yin and yang dynamics that need to exist in friendships. Like, we are very different people in the way in which we've come up, our experiences, what we've seen in life. But miraculously, the good Lord put us across the street as neighbors. And the way that we balance each other out and have been able to have a friendship turn into a business partnership, I feel very blessed about that. But Jackie, you heard this. You heard this rundown.
I did.
Talk a little bit about this dynamic that you have an opportunity to see. You saw it this morning, child, and you see almost every week.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about it. I mean, is it true to form?
I think so. I think Kelly is very much so in the house. And I think Nicole is very much so, we'll be outside, baby. Where we going? Like, type of vibe. But it works for them, right? I think it works for them. And I think their relationship has grown from what I can see, right? So I love it. I don't see anything wrong with it. But I know you'd rather be in the bed.
Girl.
And then you rather be out, but you'd rather be in the bed, right? And so,
I can go out.
Yeah, you can go out.
What do you do?
When baby.
Yeah.
When it hits, it hits.
Yeah.
However,
Caveats.
However, I be tired too.
You be
Like JP, I be in the bed, child. Like I can look. Like she said, I can order me some food, child, and lay down in the bed and be so happy.
Yes.
Like so happy.
Yeah.
But the memories when you go out, is,
priceless.
everlasting, right? Priceless. So.
But what I also love is that like you have calmed me down. You've brought me into the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like we have great evenings where we just order takeout and sip on water sometimes or sip on champagne, prosecco.
We never just sip on water.
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
I had to fix that because I already knew.
We sip on something. We sip on something, right? And it's nice. Like we had that evening where we talked a little bit about business episodes. This and the third. We had some Thai food. We had some prosecco. It was perfect. So I just love that we have the ability to go to the highest of highs and the calmest of calms, and still make it. So that's not really a question for discussion and or dialogue, but that's my what's popping.
Well, we always talk about the yin and the yang. And when that actually came out, the story broke, she was texting it to me like, I'm like, girl, okay.
This is us.
Like, this is like, we get it. Like, so we always talk about the yin and yang of this relationship. But what I have realized is that most of like the close relationships in my life, the dynamic is the exact same. Like they're all people who are completely different from me, which is the craziest thing. But they're all they're all very similar too. You know what I mean? And it's just, it's the weirdest thing. But I really do surround myself with people who are the complete and total opposite of me. And it helps just keep me on my toes, right?
For sure.
It's a healthy balance. For sure. I like to call it a healthy balance.
Yes.
So we'll move on to my what's poppin'.
What is that?
So Miss Chloe Bailey, I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to see the new series Swarm.
Girl.
But the internets
were
were abuzz this past week because she and Damson Idris had
Lori Harvey's boyfriend.
Lori Harvey's boyfriend had a scene, child. A whole scene.
Did.
And the way I watched that scene, like
I was
a
here
few
for
times,
it.
I was like, can anybody else? Could you guys rewind it and like play it again?
Did I? Did I?
Just to see something. Like, they said it was a ball between them. I'm like, where is the
Ain't no
ball?
way.
It didn't look
Ain't
like,
no way.
They said it was a pillow. It didn't look like a
It
pillow.
didn't look like there was anything in between them, right? So there has been a lot of conversations lately just around her, growing up and her sexuality and her going from like a little innocent girl group with her sister and being like really religious to now like this sex kitten that she is. I mean, her body is banging, talking about natural bodies. She has a beautiful body. Yeah. She's a beautiful girl. And she's exploring her sexuality and posting more salacious type of pictures on Instagram. And then this scene comes out with her and Damson Idris. So are people right to kind of talk shit about her because she has grown into a grown woman and she wants to just kind of do what she wants with her body, and whether that be taking salacious pictures or provocative pictures, I'm not gonna say salacious, provocative pictures, showing her body, showing her assets, or doing these things, that she have the right to grow up and explore that and do that. What are your thoughts?
You go, girl.
I don't see anything wrong with it. But honestly, I'm very non-judgmental. Like, you can do whatever you want, and I'm like, okay, that's what you want to do with your life. I'm honestly here for it, but you have to grow for yourself and learn what you want to do, what you don't want to do, right? So I personally don't see anything wrong with it. Everyone has the right to learn at their own pace and feel like, okay, I was at this stage, now I don't want to do that anymore, or vice versa, right? So I personally don't see anything wrong with it, honestly. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, we talk about the whole premise of this podcast is like being multifaceted, multidynamic, multidimensional. And she's an artist. She's a beauty. She's a creative. She's sexy. Like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
I mean, the arch in the back, child. I mean,
that's when you stretch.
I was over here taking notes. Apparently, my hips is tight. But I was impressed.
The arch,
right?
Mobility.
Mobility is key. This is why we move,
right?
But yeah, I think that she's gonna get scrutinized regardless. I think she took a picture. It looked like she was on a balcony somewhere, waterfront. She had on a paper bag dress, basically, but she looked so sexy, so elegant. but there was commentary about how she was covered literally from her like chin all the way down to her big toe. There was commentary around that. Like she can't win. And there's no reason for all that scrutiny as far as I'm concerned. She's young, she's growing, she's evolving. Let her have these experiences. She'll figure out what she wants to do, what she doesn't want to do, how she wants to show up. As long as she's not devaluing herself and she's fine every single night that she goes to bed and puts her head on the pillow, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. And 9 times out of 10, the people who are saying what they're saying about her don't have half the talent that she has.
No, not at all.
So you just got to question the motives and the place from which all that commentary is coming from.
So would the same be said if that was your daughter?
Girl, I don't know what kind of question that is.
Just say, if we both have girls, we both have daughters, and they decide to grow into their 20s, early 20s, and decide to start posting some of the things that she's posting online, would you be okay with that?
So this makes me think of a question that you would ask, like, if like our daughters at some point, because Houston is a city of bottle girls, right? And if they decided they wanted, she asked and she's like, "Would you let blah 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 like be a bottle girl?" And I'm just like, "Oh God, I don't know. Get your money, sis, the right way, and whatever that looks like, just the right way." If my daughter felt the need to do those scenes, I would want to make sure that we had a conversation and I understood the why, right? Like there has to be a means to an end. We ain't out here just having the scenes for the sake of having the scenes. But if this is a role that has the ability to take you to places higher and greater than where you are, like let's talk about it. Let's prepare your father for the conversation as well, and the rest of the family. And I would support her if that's her art and that's her craft and that's her passion.
But the pictures online too, you would support her with those things.
God dang, double down. How about you? You answer the first question. Machine Gun Kelly over here with the question.
They just popping in my mind. Those are good questions.
Right.
So I feel the same way that you both feel. Like for her, I feel like she's a 20-something-year-old woman. She's a grown woman at that point. She does what she wants to do. That's the industry that she's in. That's what they do.
Right.
If she wants to follow suit and do that, she should have the right to do what she wants to do with her body. Nobody should come in between that.
Yeah.
As for me and mine, I would have something to say, child. What you're not going to do is embarrass me like that. Like, I raised you better. Like, you need to come on and take some of this old school raising and incorporate it in the
Southeast Louisiana.
I don't feel like it's necessary to have to do all that to get attention. You know what I mean? But again,
do you think it's attention or is it...
I think so.
You think it's attention?
She's trying to sell something. I think it's both. I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think she's trying to sell something. She's trying to sell records. She's trying to, increase her followers. And that will, I think, equate to deals and more money and more popularity in the future for her, right? And that's fine if that's what she wants to do. And she's a grown woman. She can do what she wants to do. But I just, for me and my, because I'm being fair, I'm answering the same questions that I asked to you. I would want my daughter to do it another way. I think there's so many other examples of women who are getting the same amount of attention and success without having to show their body or post really provocative pictures of themselves online.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Just remember you're the prize.
That's right. Hey, my LH, that's right.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's bring it to an end.
Yeah.
Great discussion. Jackie, if folks want to follow you, learn more about your services, your business, how can they find you on the socials?
So my Instagram is Jackie C. Davis. My website is JFIT and I don't have anything else, no Facebook. So
that's fine.
So just website and Instagram.
Okay. All right. And Kels, if they want to follow us on Instagram.
Champagne Wives Podcast. That's all I know. That's it. Follow us, Champagne Wives Podcast.
Keep the followers coming up. Run it up. Yes. TikTok, if you're looking to follow us, you can follow us on Champagne Wives _podcast. If you want to email us questions, comments, cries of disbelief, thoughts that you have on the episode, you can email us at champagnewives@gmail.com. I think that's it.
Why she's the spokesperson, y'all.
I'm not.
You are.
I'm not.
You are. Thank you so
y'all.
much, Jackie. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you being here. Oh my God, this
No.
has
I love
been.
you guys.
We love
we
you.
love you so much,
And this
has
is
been,
us.
This is
It
us.
is.
Yeah.
This is us.
This
And
is what
so
we do.
We're so happy that you decided to grace us with your presence on this podcast. We've talked about you, like Nicole said, for 4 seasons straight, and we just love you and thank you so much.
Yes.
Of course, I love you guys too.
Okay. All right, baby.
Bye,
See you
love.
guys.